thank you all for being here. Wasn't that long ago we were standing here and we were showing the faces and putting out the names of people who are currently wanted for homicides, people who had arrest warrants pending but had not been located. In other words, they were fugitives. And we did so because there has been significant ask the public to work with us and to help to deliver people who present a danger to the community who've been involved in homicides. There has been significant success in the past. Well, we are here to say we have success again, and we have success since that press conference. In a moment, we will be hearing from Joanne Pescatore, who is the chief of the DA's Homicide Non-Fatal Shooting Unit, Lieutenant Marchmond, who has been here from the PPD on several occasions, could not be here at the moment because he's working very heavily on an important matter. But we are also blessed to have with us Captain Sean Thornton of the Sheriff's Office and our Sheriff, Rochelle Bilal, who have been so closely collaborating with us on this effort to bring people to justice. While we may not know the exact mechanism that caused Andre Goff, G-O-F-F, the man who, as we explained previously, was involved in the killing of Theo James IV. Theo James IV, as I mentioned earlier, was a young man who G. Lamar Stewart, our Chief of Community Engagement, also a Philadelphia police officer, and I encountered on July 4th at the scene of the mass shooting that occurred mostly on July 3rd. He was a young man who was scooping people and helping them to get medical aid, and he was standing out on that corner about 10 o'clock in the morning. When we got to the crime scene, we had a long chat with him, promising young man. But at any rate, Theo C. James IV is no longer with us, and he is no longer with us as a consequence of the actions of Andre Goff and another individual. Andre Goff today is in custody, having turned himself in very shortly after the press conference that was done the other day that informed the public. It is my pleasure at this time to call forward Joanne Pescatore, who is the chief of our Homicide Non-Fatal Shooting Unit, and who, along with Lieutenant Marchmond, came up with this idea of enlisting the public as actively as we could, using the platform that both the sheriff and the DA's office have with the media. I'm going to ask ADA Pescatore to come forward and make a few comments, and then we will move on and hear from our sheriff.
Thank you, DA Krasner. Good morning. I first want to thank the assigned detective in this case, Detective Frank Mullen, for his hard work in this case. There is still another person out there, so if you know anything about this case, Andre Goff is not the shooter in this case, but if you know anything about this case, please call the Homicide Unit, 686-3334, and ask for Detective Mullen and give him any information you might have about the shooter in this case. I had the pleasure of speaking with the victim's father yesterday in a three-way call with G. Lamar Stewart to say he was happy and elated that at least one of the people that's responsible for his son's death was caught and in custody. He was very happy, and he expressed his thanks not only to our office but also to the detectives in the Homicide Unit. I also want to thank the two fugitive squad detectives who talked to Mr. Goff and his attorney and actually facilitated his turning himself in. So as the DA said on Monday when we were here, this just makes their job easier. Nobody gets hurt. You know, the case will go forward now. It has a preliminary hearing listed next week. So this is a good result, but there's more results that we need. We showed a bunch of pictures the other day, at least 10 other individuals just from the southwest part of the city. But there's probably in the neighborhood of 85 fugitives that are still wanted. So the thing still stands. If you know anything about a case and you have any information, call the Homicide Unit, 215-686-3334, or call me at my office, 215-686-8045. Any information you give will be kept confidential. We will work with you. Anything you tell us will go toward hopefully bringing justice to another family. Thank you.
While Lieutenant Marchmond could not be here today, I thought some of his comments the other day were extremely eloquent and really went to the heart of the point. The heart of the point being that there are empty chairs. There are empty chairs. this holiday season, and this is an opportunity for the public, for the families. The families of the ones who are lost, but also the families of people who are accused of these crimes. It's an opportunity to do the right thing, to make sure that those families, to make sure that in this holiday season we remember the people in the seats, to make sure that law enforcement is not endangered in the process of bringing these folks into the court system, and also to make sure that these defendants do not end up in the middle of unnecessary violence caused by their being in fugitive status. We don't know, as we sit here today, whether the comments of the sheriff that have resonated so well in Philadelphia and frankly around the country, we don't know whether that phrase that the sheriff uses might have had its impact on the family of this defendant. We don't know whether it reached him somehow. We don't know exactly why he immediately turned himself in. But we know that that was the right thing for him to do after having been involved in so many wrong things. We know it's a better world because he is in custody now and because law enforcement are not in the position of having to hunt him down in some fashion. At this time, it is my pleasure to call forward the sheriff, who, among many other wonderful things, is the author of that particular phrase, the one I keep not saying because I don't feel I should steal something that brilliant. Sheriff?
Good morning. Thank you, D.A. Krasner. Let me thank you, D.A. Krasner and Assistant Attorney Joanne Pescatore, for your vision to hold these press conferences to alert the public at large. It is working, one person at a time. Just note, the Sheriff's Office will soon provide an interactive fugitive listing on our website at phillysheriff.com, where people can report right on our website any information on any of the defendants that are listed on these websites or on these conferences that we have. I continue to encourage everyone to help us get the fugitives out of your homes and off the streets. We can't afford another loved one to be gunned down, stabbed, or beaten to death. We can't afford no one. Let's keep going. And this is for us to keep encouraging the communities and those know that they are wanted. Let's keep going with providing the tips, making the calls, and helping the DA's office, the most wanted fugitive press conferences, and working families out here that want to be safe in their own communities. Let's keep going. Let's keep calling these people in. And I don't know either, but he may not have wanted this smoke come up in his house, so he may turn his butt in. But we appreciate that, and we want one at a time. We don't want to bring this smoke up there. It's the holiday. Get them out of your house, get them off the streets, turn them in, or they turn themselves in. Thank you.